Is race and racism systemic and institutional in Nova Scotia? Hell yes.
Last year, a group representing several diverse communities came together to create a documentary.
This is going to be looking at a raindrop in a typhoon storm.
Learning how to outsmart their smartphones, these novice videographers sought out thinkers in the community to discuss systemic racism. They called the documentary, "What Wonderful World?"
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And
people have made statements about systemic discrimination and some people being offended, saying, no, it doesn't exist.
People deny there's no racism in Nova Scotia?
Yes, what's your view?
Tell them come see me.
If you are white and speak the predominant language of your community, you probably haven't experienced systemic racism, but it does touch us all.
Systemic racism is everywhere.
Parce que c'est ancré.
Because it is embedded in our systems, it is harder to detect.
C'est beaucoup moins facile à détecter.
It's just been prettied up. When we look at systemic racism, despite the fact that there are not supposed to be barriers, there are barriers in many workplaces to hiring, to recruiting, to maintaining, to keeping.
The whole history of Canada is discrimination.
Given that the projects of genocide and enslavement form the foundation of our culture in North America, we should expect that anti-Black and anti-Indigenous sentiments exist in the infrastructure of all of our institutions.
what a wonderful world.
Inspired by Louis Armstrong's song, "What a Wonderful World," this documentary not only helps us all understand systemic racism, but it explores solutions that will benefit us all.
Are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands saying, "How do you do?" They're really saying, "I love you."
There is lots of systemic racism within our healthcare system.
It's out of ignorance. It's out of, how would I say, a complex of superiority.
As so beautifully said by Mark Peitlich, the song "What a Wonderful World" makes a subtle, heartbreaking gesture to all the darkness rapping at its door, in turn making it just hard enough for you, the listener, to entirely dismiss its optimism, at which moment the battle becomes yours.
Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Can you imagine what, say, Canada would be like if when the European settlers came here, they actually respected the people that were already here?
Oh, yeah.
What Wonderful World not only defines and lays out examples of systemic racism, it also explores solutions that will surprise and inspire you.